Public Opinion with your host, Pam Morton. And I cannot believe that we are in June already. I mean, 2024 is just rapidly moving through. And with June comes the end of school. People are getting their backyards together, clearing out their patios, getting their furniture together, and thinking about going on their vacations or thinking about planning vacations. And that's what we're going to be talking about this week is vacationing. And I have a very special co-host this week with me. She's been on the show before. She was on the show when we talked about older women with younger men, and she was on the show when we were talking about taking care of our elderly parents. But I wanted her to come on the show with me today because she's been vacationing like I don't know what. I wish I could be her. In the last 3 months, she's gone on like 4 or 5 vacations. And I wanted her to come on and talk about vacationing. And then we're also going to have a guest who is a travel agent to come on as well. So let's get started and meet my co-host. Nia is a Cleveland native. She enjoys spending time with family, travel, and vlogging, vacationing, performing, dining out, and wine. Nia has a channel on YouTube where she shares her personal life struggles and successes, weight loss journey, and gives tried and true advice to help people shift their mindset by applying small changes in their thinking and outlook in order to achieve a more satisfying life experience. Nia is also a lead singer in a local band called The Light of Day. She aspires to one day become a permanent resident in the state of California to continue on her health journey and to further expand on her vlogging endeavors. All right, so let's welcome Nia. Thank you, Nia, for coming back. It's always so nice to see you. I can always depend on you. All I have to do is say, hey, Nia, I have a subject about this. I had a subject about that. And you can pretty much talk about everything.
My second home?
Yes. Oh, well, thank you so much. And I've been following you in all of your adventures. And that's why I wanted you to be on here because I thought, okay, Nia would be a perfect person to come on to talk about some of the things that you've been doing, your vacations.
Oh, yeah.
You know, okay, so tell me, since March, where have you been?
So since February, we're going to start there. February, I took my very first cruise, y'all.
Yes.
Very first cruise to the Bahamas and Coco Cay, which is a subsidiary island of the particular cruise line I was on. I've been to Arizona. I've been to Vegas.
What?
And I have also been to somewhere else I can't think of right now, but on another cruise in 2 weeks.
Oh my, see, I want to be like you when I grow up. But I do try to, do some traveling, get away. But I really, really love that. I love to see it when people are just out there enjoying themselves. And look at you. You have that whole look. You look like you're ready to go
I am ready.
On a cruise or any kind of vacation. And
I'm calling this my soft life.
I like that.
Adventure.
A soft life.
Soft life. We got to treat ourselves, not cheat ourselves.
Oh, I like that.
So if you're able to, do it because we live one time.
And that's what I want to drill in is that we have to just seize the moment, take advantage of any opportunity that you can to go on a vacation. And you don't have to spend a lot of money.
That's right.
And that's what I want to talk about this week. And we have a guest this week that I had. Really, I wanted her to be on here for you as well, to give you some tips since you are on this. She's going to be on here talking about travel. And I'll wait and tell you what the public opinion question is when she gets here. But it has to do, obviously, with traveling. And so we are going to get started and meet our guest. We have Lillian Sherrod. Lillian is a native Clevelander. Her passion for travel was ignited at an early age as she witnessed family members traveling to destinations such as the Caribbean and Europe. One of Lillian's most memorable childhood trips and first flight was to Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Needless to say, as a travel advisor, Lillian has traveled to Disney World quite a few times since that first trip, along with many other destinations. While working in the corporate world as a risk manager, an opportunity arose for Lillian to own a travel business. As this was something she could pursue on a part-time basis and was related to her passion for travel, she gladly pursued the opportunity and has not looked back. As a travel advisor, Lillian enjoys assisting clients with living their best lives while traveling. Thank you so so much, Lillian, for being a participant on the show this week. And as you all can see, I am ready. I am ready to get some sun. I have my shades on. And Lillian, thank you and welcome. And it wouldn't be the public opinion show if we didn't have public opinion question of the week. And so the public opinion question is, what are the best tips for traveling on a budget? Because everybody wants to travel, but nobody wants to have their bank broken by doing it. So you can answer that. I'll give you just a couple of minutes to answer that question, and then we're going to have a whole discussion about that. So go ahead.
Well, thank you so much, Pam, for having me today. It's so great to be here with you and Nia this afternoon. And for some of the best tips for traveling on a budget are, first of all, you want to think about lots of people are, traveling. If you're traveling to a destination that involves flight, then you want to make sure that you're getting the best, your best dollar for, your airfare. So I do recommend some of the budget airlines that, is it okay for me to name names?
If you want to.
Okay, I would say that some of your budget airlines are Spirit, Frontier. Some of those are some of the best to actually get a better deal with. Also, you want to make sure that you are, another way to budget and to get a better price for things is to package your air and your hotel together. You want to look for packages, and that is a way of saving on, your airfare. Also, you stick with your budget. When you have one, don't extend yourself beyond your means. But as we're in the 2024 right now. So at this time, everyone is finding a way to travel. There's so many different options for people wanting to travel as well. So another way of managing your budget is if you're going somewhere such as a cruise or an all-inclusive vacation, start paying for that maybe a year out in advance. You can make payments. All of the vendors, and I should say vendors I'm speaking of travel suppliers, they're all taking payment arrangements for things like that. So you can budget out and pay in advance for those things. Also, there's now vendors available for when you want to put your vacation on layaway. And I'm serious, I know it's
I've heard that actually.
Yeah, and you can put your vacation on layaway. So there's really no reason, anyone who really wants to travel, there is a way for them to do it. So there's companies such as Uplift and Affirm that allow you to put your vacation on layaway. And you can start paying before your trip, and you can continue to stretch that on out with different options even after you've traveled. So that's another way of, making it more doable for yourself. There's also for air, there's a company called Air Affordable, and I will mention it's a minority-owned company, and they specialize in letting you lay away your air travel.
Wow, I had never even heard of anybody laying away air travel.
Yes, you can now even lay away your air travel.
I didn't know that. Now, I do know that I used to see sometimes when I would book, it would say, okay, you can maybe break something up into installment, but I never even thought about doing that. And that's probably a good way to do it rather than having the interest on the credit, whatever it is, just break it up into that from the airline rather than putting it on the credit card if you're able, to do it in those installments. So I think that's a wonderful idea. Also talking about airlines, and I know you mentioned some people cannot stand those particular airlines that you stated. And I've heard, and I don't know if this is a myth, and I don't know if you heard it too, but if there's certain days of the week that you can book your airfare and it might be lower, Is that true?
I've heard. This is what I've heard as well. Sometimes if you are booking early, very early in the morning on a Tuesday, you can get a better deal on your airfare. So the only thing you can do is just try to, get up early and watch that.
Watch.
And also, let me just say, there's a app called Hopper. So if have you used a Hopper?
No, I haven't, but I've heard of it.
If you use the Hopper app, you can set alerts so that it will alert you for when the the airfare is going to drop. If you're looking for a particular destination, you can, enter that in your Hopper app, and then it will alert you when it's going to drop.
Oh, that's like good.
Yeah.
And even better than that, I love those suggestions, but even better, what I'm finding is where a person is able to go inside of the airport to purchase your ticket, because I've noticed there is what's called passenger usage fee, right? Okay. And it could be between $25, $45, $65 extra. And that has always baffled me. Like, what is this passenger usage fee? We're going to use the plane, but what is this? But when you go into the airport, it bypasses that. I've always gotten all my flights.
So that would be similar to going to a box office and buying a ticket, and you can pass the service fees that you would have online.
Exactly.
That's why, I've heard of people doing that. However, I just don't feel like going all the way to there. You know what I mean? Everything is for convenience. Everything is for convenience. Now let's talk also about, let's say for instance, somebody has decided, I want to just get away. I want to go somewhere, and they want to go somewhere like maybe in a month. What would you say? And then what would you suggest is the best approach to doing that? And where are some places that people can go to on a budget and still have a nice time? What are some of those suggestions?
If they're putting it together themselves, I'm going to say go to one of the online vendors such as Expedia, because they're going to show you some last minute deals. They're catering to, giving the best deals basically. So I would say, start looking there, or something, one of the, companies that's doing something similar to them online, and see what they're saying is available. And some of the places and destinations that I think do travel really well if you, don't have a lot of time to plan. I would say one of the top spots, Las Vegas. Always, they always make it affordable to get there because they want you to, spend your money. So they make it very, very affordable to get there. And you can actually get a flight and hotel, I would say between, on average, $500 to $750. You're not going to get anything fancy as far as your hotel room, but you're bundling that flight and that hotel, and you can usually get something in that range.
That's what I say. I love Las Vegas. I know everybody doesn't like Las Vegas, but what about some areas that might have a beach?
Absolutely. And then I was just going to get to that. Do you know cruising is one of the, like a Caribbean cruise? It's also one of the ways that, a lot of times they have some last minute deals on cruises. And for people who are, in other states, or someone who doesn't mind driving, you can also cut out your airfare portion by even driving to your tourist port, So those are, you can make that very affordable. I had a cousin a couple of months ago, back in March. She was saying, I want to go to somewhere for my birthday. It's her birthday coming up, and she wanted to go. She didn't know where she wanted to go, but she had a budget. Her budget was $1,000. I sent her on a cruise.
I kind of want. That's what
I sent her on a cruise, and
she went on a cruise. How many nights was it?
It was 4 nights, 5 days, 4 nights.
Wow.
Yeah. So cruising, and another beautiful thing about cruises, you don't have to have a passport to go to, if it goes to Nassau or whatever islands. You're you're a U.S. citizen sailing from the U.S., you don't need a passport. Well, you just need your birth certificate and your driver's license.
And now let's talk about hotels. And Nia, you want to talk about hotels versus Airbnb?
Yeah, I actually prefer an Airbnb. I love hotels, but I prefer an Airbnb for 2 reasons. First, they're typically affordable depending on your preference. If you'd like to just be in a room, or if you're fine with just being in a room. I'm not. I like my own space, so I could just assume my own space. I do like Airbnbs because I can go to the grocery store, do the shopping, all the shopping I want to do, and prepare my own foods on a real stove and store them in a real fridge versus a hotel. And so that way, on days I don't want to go out to eat, or can't go out to eat for whatever reason, I'm still good. You know what I mean? So that's just my personal preference. And it makes you feel a part of the actual community where you're at, versus being inside a building.
But the only thing about the Airbnbs, I had a bad experience once with an Airbnb. And it was only because the person didn't tell me that there were going to be some other people in the house. My husband and I thought that we were going to have the whole house. And then we were in the living room, and next thing we knew, a lady came in, and we were like, "Who are you?" And then she was like, "Well, I've been here for like 3 days." And then, okay, if that wasn't bad enough. Then during the night, this man was banging on the door because he couldn't get in, and he was like, I'm supposed to be in there as well. So it was just a big mess.
It was a shared space.
It was just a big mess. However, the last time I did go on a vacation was just a couple of months ago, and my son had booked the whole house, and we knew we were gonna have it, and that was a much better experience. So so it can work out good. Also, if you have timeshares, all of, like you said, and then you can cook your food. Although sometimes on vacation, I don't want to cook any food. I just want to go and
that's when you don't sleep on the street vendors and the food trucks. Because no, seriously, people think, food truck or street vendor, they have some delicious options on those food trucks. If you don't want to go typical restaurant, you have to tip well and all that stuff. There's just, when we're talking of budgeting and saving money, that's just another way to go. Yeah.
Not like that. Now, you want to talk again about setting goals and saving for a trip. If you do know that you want to take a trip that's going to cost a little bit more money, what are your suggestions for that?
Yes, my suggestion is to plan in advance. If you know you want to do Europe next year or the year after, start planning in advance what you want to spend, where you want to go, and start, decide on who you want to, travel with. There's different vendors out there who best, if you like tours, what tour company you're going to go with. Look at several different ones. Some people like to tour. Some people like to see things on their own. So it just depends on what fits your lifestyle. But definitely start, when we're talking budget and planning, what fits, with, what you have in your life going on, and, time. Planning early is a big help. It's a big help.
So if somebody called you now, and then you can say the name of your travel company.
Yeah, Another Level Travel.
Another Level Travel.
Yeah.
So if somebody said, you know what, I don't like doing stuff on my own. I'm just going to call Lillian and tell her what I want. So if I was to call you, or somebody else were to call and say, hey, I have, and I like what you said, the lady said she had $1,000. So I think that's even more helpful to a travel agent. If you tell somebody, this is all I want to spend, create this for me.
I agree.
So then what would you go about doing? Then that's when you really would put on your budget capper and say, okay, these are things that you can do.
Yes. We get all types of different requests, but the first thing is to ask a lot of questions. If someone comes and they're not sure what, they want to do, I have to really drill down to see what they want to do versus what they don't want to do. But starting with a budget, that's very important, because if I start giving them options that, I don't know how much should I spend, and I'm way, higher, then, they're not even going to, once I give them the information, they're not going to call me back.
Right. And even in suggesting free events, free things to do. And just about every city, there's something free to do, be it, hiking or just, museums. Like here in Cleveland, our zoo is free on Mondays. Just different things that don't cost anything and to keep you in that budget.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Very good points, Nia.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can still do vacation. And we talked about this prior to this show. You can do like little close vacations. Like my husband and I, we'll drive up to Detroit and maybe stay at a hotel and go to the casinos around here or something. Because, we just like to do that. But then, or you could drive, wherever within your vicinity. Also, I think people don't realize that you can kind of make a vacation out of a lot of, and you can have staycations, right?
Absolutely.
Where you can just kind of just go downtown or something, something to get you out of the house.
Yes, and still changing your environment.
Right. And like you said, you can check in to see what's going on in town, or if you know you're going to be, if you're going to Detroit or something, you can make a vacation out of that. You can say, okay, what's going on in Detroit? Are there comedy shows going on, or, something that you can do? Because I think a lot of times people, when they think of vacation, right away they think, oh, I don't have any money to go on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Because they think it's supposed to be this big luxurious thing. And I think vacation just means that you take time away from what you normally are doing and spend time either resting or having fun or doing something with your family or something. All of that to me is a vacation.
That's what
And that's what I really want people to know, is that you can enjoy your life, and you don't have to break, the bank. But also, I think you can probably see the world if you want to, if you plan, like you said, plan. Because now next year I want to go to Hawaii. Have you been to Hawaii?
I have not been to
I
Hawaii.
have never been to Hawaii. However, I've been doing all this research right now. I didn't even know they had all these. I knew they had islands, but I didn't know they had all this stuff. So now I'm like, okay, now where am I gonna go to Maui? Am I going to Oahu? I'm so.
Let
right
me
now,
just
I'm
say
doing
one
all
thing
that.
for you. There's a cruise that'll take you to multiple islands so that you would get to see multiple instead of just, if you have, instead of having to choose, you could, that would be an option.
That's excellent.
Because
I
I'm
didn't
kind
know
of
that
afraid of cruises. That's why I'm not.
Really?
I've never been on a
You
cruise.
would love it. It would change your life.
That's what everybody says. I don't know.
Change your life.
You hear about people getting sick and all this and that. But I do want to probably eventually. Now let's also talk about all inclusives, because I know you mentioned that once in what you were saying. But in my research about going on vacations and stuff, a lot of people have told me, like, I want to go to Cabo.
Yes.
And everybody has said, make sure you do an all-inclusive.
Absolutely. That's the only way to do Cabo.
Is that right?
All-inclusive, yes. In fact, Mexico is, when you're talking about budgeting and staying within a certain budget, and you have a certain budget you want to maintain, Mexico is the best destination for all-inclusives. They have many. They do it well. They have very nice resorts at different levels depending on where you want to be. But Cabo is, that's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be beautiful. So I would absolutely, definitely go to Cabo.
And I think that's a good idea
do it
too.
all inclusive, because, once you're going there, you don't have to worry about your food. The food costs, the drink costs.
Right, all of that.
You don't have to worry about any of those type of things. So definitely, I love all inclusives, and when you're budget conscious, I do recommend Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's another thing. People have told me that you can do a great vacation in Mexico, and Cabo is like the big place now.
Yeah.
But those all inclusives include, like she said, your food and the drinks. And then I heard, like you said, they have different levels. Like if you want like premium, packages.
If you're super bougie, they have something for you.
Super bougie.
If you want something, you just want to enjoy the environment and get out and maybe do some excursions and zip line or whatever. There's something for you. It just depends. Like everyone has their own tastes, their own needs, requirements. They know what where you fit in, and you want that to fit you, and they can make that work for you.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Oh yeah, I think that's the wonderful thing. Okay, so we have our budget airline. We have maybe taking advantage of booking on a Tuesday, maybe you try that out, or Tuesday or Wednesday. You have all-inclusive vacations that you can take that on a budget. You have you mentioned also just knowing what your budget is and saving for that, maybe. Because maybe if you know to do some research, you could tell somebody, well, if this is where you want to go, and if this is the level of vacation you want, you may need to have X amount of money. And then just start saving. I would imagine that would probably be the best thing that, you can do.
Even with transportation, and that just a thought that just came to me. Transportation for those who want a car instead of ride sharing when they're on vacation. The app Turo, Turo. That's an excellent way to go when it comes to having a car. other than, the traditional, I don't want to say the name Enterprise or anything like that, but yeah. And, we're looking at $48 a day in some cases, $70 a day for people who privately own their vehicles. And it works out nicely. The vehicles are nice and clean. They're functional.
Okay, so it's sort of like an Airbnb, but with a car.
Exactly. It's like
car
a mobile. There you go. Car Airbnb. Let's go.
Okay. Oh, that's
it's called Turo. Turo.
That's something.
We've done it a couple times and it works out.
I mean, have we not come a long way as a society?
Yeah.
I mean, there used to be a time when we would not think about getting into a car with a stranger, in these ride shares. And now you got giving your car to somebody to rent, giving your house to somebody to rent. But you know what? Those things are what has made traveling affordable for a lot of people. And they've been doing things like that in Europe for a while.
For a long time. We're just catching up.
But we are just catching up. I really love to travel. I really do. But I don't travel nearly as much as I need to travel.
Gotcha.
And so, and I know.
Yeah, we do.
And that's why you all are inspiring me, especially you having traveled. I say I'm going to get out here and do a whole lot more things than what I have been doing. Yeah. Because I want to encourage my audience to don't think that you cannot travel and don't think that you just don't have the money to do it. I think that everybody can find something to do and to get out of their environment. And
I love that you're saying that because, not to make it about color or anything like that, but particularly people of brown, brown and black people, because we are of that mindset, the majority of us anyway. Oh, it's too much, or we can't do this. Yes, you can.
Yep,
you can do so much more than you think you can do. Trust me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And it doesn't take $1 million to do it. It's just like she said, just a bunch of planning and, making sure that your budget, staying within your budget, thinking of things you really want to do. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Right. Try to make yourself happy.
Exactly.
There's hikes. If you ever wanted to hike before, there are groups that'll take you on a hike for 2 to 3 hours for $25 that include your pictures. Like when I hiked to the Hollywood sign, the guy included our little snacks, our little bottled waters, and our pictures while we're up there. There's so much. Facebook has groups. Travel groups.
Yes, I was just going to say,
and become inspired.
Some people don't travel because they say, "Well, I don't have anybody to travel." Yeah. And you're right. You can join the travel group, right? I've seen that on Facebook too.
Groups for single people, for groups for single women. There's so much out there. You just have to put the work in.
And solo single travel, that's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge right now. Yeah.
Solo single travel.
Oh yeah.
Solo travel. Oh,
and see, that's another thing. Please let the audience know that. Don't hold yourself back from doing things.
Don't.
Yeah.
And then look at all the beautiful people you'll meet on a solo travel.
You just have to be careful or whatever and do the research. But I think that's a great idea. If you don't have anybody, just go by yourself, Yes. But research. And another thing I do, as soon as I get to a different city, I look up to see, like, coupons. I take advantage of those Groupons. I'm going to tell you. Groupons, or go to the front desk or concierge or whatever it is and say, hey, what's a good place to go? Yeah. And they can recommend, and I'm telling you, so many people at the hotel can give you so many nice recommendations on like restaurants, places to go, whatever. But we got to get ready to wrap up. So Lillian, what are some of the things, if anything, you want to leave with the audience or tell them about travel?
Well, I do want to just let everyone know that when we're talking about, first of all, you can travel just as, to the audience. If there's someplace you want to go, start planning now and get out there to that destination. If you, are the kind of person who needs to know more information about somewhere that you're planning on going, use TripAdvisor. That's one of my greatest resources. And I go on there and I can look at my, like a hotel or a city, look for information and,
go read the reviews. Yeah.
Read the reviews, that type of thing. But, do some research.
Yes.
But the main thing is get out there because travel enriches us in so many different ways. So don't be afraid of it. just, get out there, start planning and get out there and do it.
Oh, but thank you so much, Lillian. I thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Pam, for having me, and it's been a pleasure being here with you and Nia. And I've enjoyed this experience so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I so enjoyed that.
So did
I'm telling you, I am ready for my
Me
vacation.
too. I'm ready.
You are ready.
I'm ready.
Now you're going to go on your cruise when?
I am going on June 14th through the 21st to Mexico.
Oh, what part of Mexico?
Oh boy, I can't think of the two.
Well, you're just gonna go and you're gonna have a good time. Oh my goodness, I really, really appreciated her coming on
too.
Because I do want to emphasize that everybody needs to get out there. Just don't get so caught up in your rut of working that you don't take time to vacation. And even if it's a short trip, a staycation, if you just go to a city over near where you are, or if you make sure that you're planning and budgeting,
Yes.
you can do it. You can see the world, because there are people who have figured out how to really navigate their way around all of everything by Googling things, budgeting, looking up all of the places that you can get a good deal.
There's really no limit today. We're in the information age.
Yes.
We're in the age of knowledge. There's knowledge everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. Just put that work in. Everybody can enjoy it.
So if you enjoyed watching us, continue to follow me on Facebook or YouTube. And if you cannot watch the show, listen on the go wherever you get your podcast. And enjoy your vacation. Enjoy your summer. And I am going to be enjoying mine. So until next time, I'll see you for another episode of Public Opinion. Bye-bye.